Why gratitude is the key to happiness with Carlos Fernandez. Carlos shares how gratitude has been the key to happiness and success in this video. He talks about how grateful people are more likely to forge their future and succeed and outlines steps that you can take to start living gratefully today. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show. Make sure to like and subscribe so you get notifications in the future. Make sure to share this incredible show with others, and you're about to go on a wellness driven ride. Welcome, everyone, to today's show. Let me introduce you to Carlos. He was born in Venezuela in 1960. He has many talents and accomplishments. In 1976, he represented Venezuela and South America at the symposium celebrating the Year of the Child at United Nations headquarters. The Venezuelan president granted him a full scholarship to study in the USA, and in 1978, he began his studies at the University of Kansas and Condé College, California, where he earned an associate's degree in electronic technologies and computer science. In 2020, Carlos was certified as a life and wellness coach. He has also written 2 books, Simply Me, Just Me, published in 2021, and Forging Your Future, published in 2022, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. Carlos's life vision is to come alongside people offering support from everyday lessons. His voice is professional but inspiring. His love is to share the importance of living gratefully. Please help me welcome Carlos Fernandez. Hi, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
my pleasure. Thank you for being on the Wellness Driven Life Show.
It's an honor. It's an honor. I am. I have been counting the minutes all day long. No, since yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Well, tell our audience about who you are. Say a little bit about yourself outside of your biography.
I have always considered myself a simple guy, not very fancy, very outspoken about everything, especially the experience that I've had. And it's just that now at 62, all of a sudden I have a bigger audience as I've been moved into writing books. And the ones you have in your hands are the Just Me and Forging Your Future. But I am writing. I'm ready to publish my third book. That it's being
Oh,
worked on right now.
wow.
Yes.
You didn't share that with me. That's
No, that was a
exciting.
surprise. It's a gift, and it's the first time that I say that publicly. So you are. This program is special in that area because
Oh,
I'm giving us a gift.
we are so blessed to know that. That is incredible. And I can say that I have fully read your first book. I have dabbled into the second book, and I absolutely love your writings. They're so
Thank you.
full of stories and culture and flavor and passion. And I'm going to share a little bit today with the folks that are listening, just how your writing style is. And I'm excited about that. Carlos, tell me a little bit of how you've evolved as an individual over the years.
As I look back, I've been seeing a thread that puts everything together. Because even when I'm a flooring contractor, hardwood floors contractor, and as I have done this for now over 30 years, I've always helped people,
Mm.
encouraged them, and whatnot. And as soon as I got my first book, I was giving my first book out and using that as a tool to open doors to more conversations. And one of the many customers I had told me one time, he was almost in tears and he was thanking me for what I've done in his house. He said, not only you did floors, but you taught my wife and I to walk hand by hand in these new floors.
Mm.
And so that kind of feels my purpose, drives my desire to continue doing what I'm doing. And at times I've considered leaving the wood floors behind, but every time I see that, I get this out of the out of my mind experience with somebody that is through the floors brings me to what I'm supposed to be doing. And as a matter of fact, that's how the whole story about the books. I don't know. Did I tell you how I started the books?
No, I would love for you to share. And I also want to just kind of go back just a little bit. You're talking about you became a floor contractor and you lay floors in people's homes, and that brings you a lot of joy to have that physical aspect and being able to you know give back to people that way. And you're saying that through that, people you're teaching people. What did you say the quote was? People to hold hand in hands while walking over the.
In the new floors.
Yes, so that's, it feels like almost a teaching moment. Now, was that the first time you felt like you were meant to start on a coaching journey?
No, no. I tell you, the coaching journey it doesn't necessarily has to do with floors. It has to do with my mom. But it's also a really cool story. Um, my mom is turning 80 years old now. So she's getting
Wow.
to that stage where her mind is not working as good as it used to.
Mm.
Her filters are not there anymore. She's talking without filters. And so I kept looking at her and telling my wife, I don't want to be like her. She changed. And I don't like this
Yeah.
lady. I don't want to be like her.
I don't like
And,
this lady.
well, that's reality. I mean, I feel bad.
Yeah, no,
But
I
that's
understand.
reality. And so I start asking God, you need to show me my new direction.
Mm.
How can I work this for my life? So the next three people that I have a conversation with, they ask me, "Are you a life coach?" And at that time, I didn't know what life coach is. It's like I don't know. Then I go to Miami, and then it would be the fourth person that I talk to. He doesn't tell me, "Are you a life coach?" He gives me a card, a business card, says, "Go take this course to
Oh,
become a
so it
life."
just was given to you, like, naturally, and like God was
Supernatural.
speaking to you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, this is my favorite part. When I go to the coaching school, the first thing that they do is they give me a mirror. And I look at my
Mm.
mirror, and when I see my mirror, I tell myself, I don't need to worry about my mom. I have enough crap in here to work with that lasts me the rest of my life.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Now, isn't that one of the most profound things, when we understand that we are the ones that we need to work on. And through that, we're really showing up and being the example for everyone else.
Yeah, we are mirrors of each other. I heard once said, if you see somebody that makes you happy, celebrate that. If you see somebody that bothers you, go check yourself
Mm.
because that person is telling you something in you that you don't like about yourself, but you haven't worked on it. Because it's easier to see somebody and see their mistakes. You have to go to the mirror. And when we avoid the mirror, because that means I have to work. But if I look at somebody and talk about them without doing anything about my life, I feel good because I showed, how wrong they were and how bad they are, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
When we're pointing, we have the other finger showing at us, saying, "What about you?" And we don't like that. But I was so determined to make a change in my life because, well, first of all, I don't want to be like her. No, and then when I realized it's me, that one that has to be changed, I dove in and I said, I want to change. And I became my first client. And it's a success story about my first client. Um,
Carlos, I love so much how you say things. I It's been a number of years, I think, since you and I have interacted, and I was so glad that I came back into contact with you because I remember how much it's almost like I have this adoring factor towards you. And you say the things that so many people don't really necessarily say out loud. Like, I don't want to be like my mother. And I I think people like kind of stand back and don't want to say that. And I love that you're so upfront and you say things so eloquently. So thank you.
am I supposed to say something?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
done. That
Oh,
was my little spiel.
I thought you were reading it at the screen or something. No,
Oh, no, no, no.
think about this. If I don't share my experience, then whomever is listening, they might not be able to
Relate.
identify themselves with what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
don't mind. I, I I say this kind of kind of crazy silly thing. I said when I was young and stupid, I did this, this, and this. Now I'm old and stupid, and I do this, this, and this. Because growing old is an opportunity not only to change yourself but to serve others and help others, and realize that in that you find a key for joy in your life.
Mm.
We talk about we were talking about gratitude, and it's a crazy idea. Our country is based in our Declaration of Independence about being and a pursuit of happiness, uh, and we don't realize that that's not where it is. If you decide to dedicate yourself to look for happiness, you might end up very depressed because that you're not going to find it there. We find in giving, we
Mhm.
find in appreciating. I mean, think about this. Happiness is having what you want. Instead, a word that we don't talk that much, that is joy, is wanting what you have. It's
Mm.
finding contentment. I tell when somebody tells me when talking to somebody in my face, they tell me, "Oh, I'm happy," and I said, "Yeah, and I can change that so quick. I slap you and I change that real quick." Now, if you decide to be joyful, there's nothing you can do to change my heart because it's a decision that I've taken that no matter what, I'm going to be joyful. And as I grow up, as I'm looking back in my life, I find that they used to call me Willie. Okay, just think about this. They used to call me Willie, and my friends used to say, "Where there's a Willie, there's a way," because I would
Mm.
find ways to do whatever I needed to do. And but then when I reached that, that's when I was happy. So it's I think it was 58. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna sit back in the back seat, and I'm gonna let God be the driver of my life from now on. And
Mm.
things are going to happen when they happen, and they are going to be whatever he wants to be. I'm just going to be joyful that I'm allowed to be seated in the back and to learn from him. And that's when things start changing drastically. And
Oh, so I wanna go back a little bit because I think that's a really important thing that you just said. Um, when you allowed, or maybe another word is surrendered,
mhm,
and you allowed things to happen, you said that's when things changed drastically.
yeah, yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I had always been looking for the spotlight,
Mm.
and maybe I didn't got to be, very high, but I got to be there in the spotlight, in my little spotlight, and so what? It's not a big deal. It's not where it is at today at 62. I would define success uh, with the amount of people I get to push in to success. That's how I describe. I've been successful. I did it because,
Okay.
and again, it's not going to be me. It's going to be God using me.
Mm.
Like
So it's
yesterday.
it lifting and lift in the lifting of others is where you feel that success is?
Yeah, like yesterday, Women's Day, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, beautiful words, Carlos." And I said, "Well, my mom taught me that." She's the
Yeah.
one that I owe everything that I am, and I am the way that I treat women is thanks to my mom. And a lot of the things that I my belief, my walk with God, all comes from my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's okay to take backstage, to take to step down and let somebody else get the spotlight. Like I've been so overwhelmed with your invitation, and I since I got it, I've been reviewing your stuff and learning about what you do, and
Oh, thank you.
it is so cool what you do,
Oh,
and
thank you,
especially
Carlos.
especially for the aspect of women. You know, uh, I don't understand why there's that differences between women and men, and I wish there wasn't that competition because you don't have to compete for what's yours,
No, I
right?
think I think embracing the differences because they're so beautiful in their own right.
I'd rather see the differences that we have than the similarities. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
given we're the same. We're children of God.
Yeah.
There's so many stuff that blows my mind in this area about the women thing. But it, looking at what you've done, what my highlight of your programs was when you interviewed my cousin. I call her my cousin because she was a Fernandez.
Yes.
So I say, yeah, two
Lina.
Fernandez in that show. That's awesome. So thank you for what you do. You know, thank you
Oh.
in behalf of the women that are going to be uplifted and given the spotlight. Thank you for what you're doing for also us men. That come to your show. Thank you.
Oh, we always have a few good men, Carlos. Yes. My pleasure. And speaking of lifting others, we're going to go to our first commercial. And when we come back, I would really love to know what your favorite success story is.
Okay.
Hi, I'm April Hove, the managing director of the Fort Worth, Texas chapter of eWomen Network. I'm so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You have just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We are on a mission to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connecting through 118 chapters across the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Fort Worth. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I am really looking forward to introducing you to our community. So, Carlos, tell me, thank you. Tell me, when I ask you that question, what is your favorite success story that can really go beyond yourself? But really, I want to know about your success story because I know a little bit about your history and I know that our audience doesn't know everything, but I feel like you have got to have this really powerful success story. And, because when you come from humble beginnings, so to speak, and, all of the, uh, you know, things that you have gone through, what is the thing that stands out the most?
I when you asked me that question, I had to take a hard look because there's so many stories. I
Mm.
mean, the fact that I'm brown in a country of white people majority, and that has created a lot of problems. Um, but I right now, you have to pick one. The best one that I could. to direct your attention to is the one that I have in the book, Forging Your Future. It's called Lost But Found. Is the name of the
Mm.
poem. This poem was written about uh, in 2022, 2020. I wrote this poem, and it's about not being able to have contact with my son through circumstances of life. I lost contact with my son for many years,
Mm.
and he was in pain. He was torn inside in pain, so he didn't want nothing to do with me. Um, I I all I did was pray and try to pursue him. Yeah, but every time I tried, it was I wasn't able to. And so I write this poem, and I want to put it in this book. And then all of a sudden, I get a call from my son, and he asked me, "Hey, he called me, hey Carlos, I'm going to go to Colorado Springs to celebrate my birthday, which is a few days before Father's Day. Can I come and spend them with you?"
Mm.
You can imagine how my heart was. And
Oh.
the most exciting thing, and I told him, of course, I told him, yes, 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 yes. And I tried to be calm and calm down, but I couldn't contain my emotions. But I did not tell him about the poem at that time. I
Mm.
let him come. And as he came, everything that, okay, I'm sorry, sorry, I have to go back up a little bit. The first part of the poem, it's me searching for him and
Mhm.
telling him about how much I've suffered, not being with him, and all that. The second part of the poem is I tell him in the poem, this is coming to an end. We're going to meet, we're going to call this a past.
Yeah.
And then I go describing how that was going to happen. So first he calls me, and then everything that was written in that second part of the poem, it happened in front of my eyes. That's so sad story.
Oh.
Because I'm your regular Joe. I am nothing. I don't consider myself any special than the next person. And we all can be here. We all. This is a gift that God gives all of us to be there at His feet and allow Him to work through us. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Carlos, I know this is one of the more difficult subjects. And and through your poems, I know, you know, a lot of people have an understanding of the power and the healing of writing. And I think that you have absolutely done that through your books. Do you mind if I read part of the poem
please
to our
do.
audience? Now,
Which one
it's
you
a
want to
long
read?
poem, so it's not all of it, but I just wanted to do a little bit for the audience.
Which one you want to read?
This is from Lost But Found. So
Oh wow.
what you're
Okay.
describing and talking about with your son. Son, I look around and I can't see you. I can only imagine how I have hurt you. Full of fear, sadness, I have lashed out at you, causing the wounds that make you run for safety away from me. All I can say today is I am so, so sorry. Please forgive me. I have no excuses for what I have done. My ignorance took over. Now I am responsible for all that has happened. I need a chance to make it better for you. I wish I could wind the clock back to find little Danny, scared, sad, alone, in need of his dad. But I have to work with what I have. What a misfortune, all the loss of years that have passed. I wonder how you are. I wonder if you too carry your heart in crumbles like me. I have hope, son, enough for us both. Soon you will find your way home. Soon you will be in my arms. And together we will cry, but this time in joy. We will celebrate what God has done because the day is coming when you and I will never be apart again. Even when I leave this life, I will have found a place in your heart. and we will never be apart again. And you, son, in God's strength, you will be able to use all that you have gone through to help others, unfortunate kids who have lost their way home, away from their dad, a dad they should have never lost, to be able to celebrate the lost but found. And that's absolutely beautiful. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you. When you said you were going to read a poem, I imagined that your audience would benefit from a different one.
Well, that's the one you sent me that you wanted me to take a look at. And so I and Carlos, it must be on your mind and it must be something on your heart that you want to share and somebody is going to listen to it and needs to hear it because it's also the poem that you just started talking about and we hadn't discussed that. So someone has to hear it. And I think
Definitely.
that's really the power of our stories. And for those of us who are brave enough to stand up, stand out, speak up, and say it out loud, it's going to help heal our planet. And I
Yeah,
thoroughly believe that.
definitely, definitely. The fact that we are alive is an opportunity to work on it, to pursue that.
Yes. Yes.
You know, we have a God that loves healing, and he wants us to work in the healing of our life, of our relationships, so that share his message in an easier way. To me, I was telling this morning to somebody that the message is so simple.
Mm.
The message is clean yourself so that you can reflect him better.
Mm. Yeah.
What he's going to do, the words you're going to use, that's him working through you. All you're doing is just reflecting him.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're going to go to another quick commercial, take a drink of water, gather ourselves. That was a tough one, even for me. And then I want to ask you, what was a turning point in your journey? So when we come back.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Welcome back. So, I know that you could probably share maybe a couple turning points, and I'm sure that your son may have been one of those. And on top of that, Carlos, who was there to support you? So let's start with a turning point that you had, and the people alongside you.
Well, the turning point happened a long time ago when I moved to Colorado, Springs, Colorado. Um, I was connected with three men. We had a Bible study, and throughout the years, different people have come, but they have gone. The core is was four, and so we've been in this Bible study now for almost 35 years.
Oh, wow. And you said there's 4 of you?
Yeah, there's four of
That's
us.
amazing.
And the way that God has used this man to chip all the ugly from me, it's amazing. So I
Mm.
would say that's one of the major turning points. And like that, there's many of them. My dad died in my arms before I came to Colorado, and that gave me a completely different look about life, about death. Then I came, like I said, I came here. I found these three men. We start journeying together, and then about 6 years ago, my younger brother, died, and
Oh,
I found him in his house 3 days after he had died.
Oh,
and that also brought a lot of changes in my life. And they decided to surrender to and just be used by God
mm,
and serving others.
okay.
Yeah. If I may, I think your audience would benefit of reading if you read another poem.
Okay.
Can I talk you into it?
Yes.
And
So
I'm
I
sorry to put you in the spot.
no, it's okay. Although what I can say is it's because I only had um I just have it on the computer. I know I don't have the book, Carlos.
Okay, it's
So
okay.
I printed out what I do have is I have the message. Is that the one? I was gonna read just
No,
the tail
no.
end. No. Well, I think what would be even better, more glorious, would be the author himself reading. Would you
Okay,
do the honors?
perfect, perfect.
Excellent.
I love to read this poem because you're talking about turning points.
Yes.
This one is one of them. This is one marks another one of them, and it's from the first book.
Wonderful.
This one, I trick my reader, telling them about the story about the ugly duckling. I don't know if you remember reading that one.
Yeah.
It's called Love. And then, kind of halfway to the of that poem, I said, let me go to one more. Yeah, I said that no wonder the ugly duckling back then found a safe place to hide in the closet where no one was able to ridicule him. The better ones in our society used a great book to condemn them, to prove them how wrong they were. Others, with more compassion, chose to love them, but only if, this, if they stopped being ugly ducklings. I was one of them, finding logic in my stupidity. But love found me instead. It is desire to open my eyes. That's God. I got an ugly duckling in my gang. Knowing how deep I had run the line in the sand, my ugly duckling acted like the others. Make sure no one could see how ugly the duckling she was. She too moved away, looking for acceptance, until love found me and helped me understand. Today I write these lines with shame for the monster I've become. I am thankful for the love that changed my heart. If there is one thing they have learned from us is the hypocrisy. Today they call to celebrate diversity, but the line is drawn for those who claim to belong to the ones who teach to love their neighbor. What a mess we've created when all we're called is to love our neighbor, not to understand, not to judge, not to make them change to be like us, just to love them, whether or not they are different from us. Leaving the sorting, if there is one by the one who created us, who called us to love everyone.
Mm.
And I don't know if you grab who I'm talking about, but my daughter became a lesbian. And she called me one day and she said that was a lesbian. Oh no, when I went to her graduation, she introduced me. Dad, this is my friend. I said, nice to meet you. She says, no, she's my girlfriend. Nice to meet you, girlfriend. She says, no, Dad, she's my roommate. Nice to meet you, roommate. And he says, Dad, she's my lover. It's like, oops. And I used to make fun of them and
Oh,
face it in my own family. Um, but God is so amazing. The fall is not the problem. To fall down is not the problem. The problem is once you fall down, what you gonna do about it?
yeah.
And to
Mm.
realize that when you fall, your daddy's hands are there to pick you up and to clean you and tell you, you want to try it again with my help? And you go for it, and then you're able to surrender the ways you've seen things and the condemnation you have brought on other people, and you're able to say, I am sorry, it's my stupidity.
Yeah.
Because of your program being a program for women, uh, the older program, the older part, I felt that it was important for them to hear this. That no
Mm.
where they are in life in the spectrum, you're welcoming them. Everybody, you're welcoming everybody. You want to stretch your love into all of them because, like I said, if there is a sorting, if there is a change, that's God. It's going to do it, not you, not them.
Yeah. I think there's so much that reminds me as we speak and as you read that poem and what you said before about, having that reflection in that mirror and you stated it in your poem that you've been so ugly and your ugliness and you mentioned that but really when we turn it around and we realize the things that how we've been showing up and the way that we have been thinking of others and our perceptions and our ideas and our judgments towards others and ourselves. So that's a really wonderful poem you shared.
I'm glad we were able to have a chance to do that because
Yeah.
I think it's going to bless people. Uh, we need to realize that we can be naked, and because there's no need to be putting a mask, it doesn't help us. At the end, when we are at home, there's nobody but us to face who we really are. So why not be it?
Be yourself. Be
Be
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, it sounds like you've obviously had many trials and tribulations in life. What kept you going during those very challenging times? I mean, you lost people back to back, it sounds, your father, your brother, and in the way that you lost them, this is more uncommon, I feel like, for people to lose somebody in your arms and then to find them days later. Those are more traumatic experiences, I would absolutely say. So tell me, what are some of the things that have kept you going? What are some of the messages and things that you have told yourself?
My brother, I have an older brother, and he happened to be the model kid. At that time, when we were little, back in Venezuela, we had Sunday school, a Sunday church, Sunday clothes to wear to church. Um, and, we weren't rich, but we had a set of new clothes that we had for to use to go to church. Every Sunday, we were the same clothes. My brother came home, and he was the kind of kid that he would undress himself, hang the clothes up, and change. I barely got my clothes off and got some shorts, and I was out the door. And my mom always got upset with me, and she would tell me, "Why can you be like your brother?"
Mm.
And at an early age, I started telling her, "Because I'm me. I don't know."
Yeah.
So as I look back in my life, it was a blessing. It was a blessing because that helped me define who I am. Now, it also has some negative consequences. Like one of them, every time I face a new challenge, I had to define who am I, what am I going to do here. Who does the people can see that I am not like my brother? This is me in action. So that always had been the challenge, a challenge that I carried with myself. I didn't have to go compete with anybody. I was competing with myself to prove myself, to earn that position that I needed to be. This is mine. This is my place, my time, my moment.
Hmm.
And God used that to work my life. As a matter of fact, a kind of a funny story about that. I went to my brother was a reader. I never touched books. I wanted the ball. You give me a ball and I was happy. My brother, you gave him a book. At the age I think was 6, he read the Bible back and forth, and it's like you're crazy. Uh, I had to read, so I read, but it wasn't my passion.
Mm.
I became passionate about reading when I started writing. Then I became crazy and I read all kinds of stuff now. I am eager. I want to know. I want to read more all the time. But back then it didn't. It wasn't like that. And one time I went to my brother and asked him, "How come you never wrote a book? If you're the reader of the family, how come you never wrote a book?" And his answer was, "Because I know what it takes to write a book." And then he asked me, "So why did you write a book?" And I said, I guess I was blinded like Noah when he was called to do the ark. He didn't know what he was doing.
That's a good
had
answer.
somebody had somebody told him what to do, he would have said, "Nah, I'm not doing that. That's too difficult." And same thing, writing a book. I didn't know how much work it took. Think about somebody who is not accustomed to reading. I had to read each poem 100 times and
Yes.
say, tweak this and tweak that and tweak this. It's crazy.
And I know that you had some help with it too, because English is not your first
Native
language.
language.
So I know that in both of your books you have both in Spanish and in English. So
Yeah.
that was sort of a challenge for you, I recall. But you know what I love about that, Carlos, is you offer it to such a wider audience because you did that.
It is possible. I tell people, I am the one of the example story of it is possible to do it. You can
Yeah.
make it. If I made it, anybody can make it.
Yeah. And you were going to say a little bit at the beginning of our show that you wanted to talk a little bit about your journey with the first book.
My journey with the first book.
Yes, you're like
Oh,
how you're,
how it starts.
yeah, how you started it.
It is a very cool story. I mean, all of them are really cool stories. I uh, I'm sleeping. This happened at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. I get a thought. I get up. I jot it down. I went back to sleep. And then another thought. Immediately, another thought. So I remember waking up, kind of what's all this about? So I get the paper again and I wrote it down and I go back to sleep. And then the thoughts start coming faster and faster and faster and bigger thoughts. So I decided that I needed to get up to the computer because a piece of paper wasn't going to be enough. So I opened the computer to a page that I never opened before, this Word page, and I filled it up from top to bottom, from left to right. No comma, no paragraphs, no anything, just and I wrote it and I went to sleep. Next day, I'm sanding this floor in this house. And as Miss Engelbrechtson walks into the room, I see her and I don't know why I tell her, "Excuse me, could you read this?" And I give her my phone, because everything is Apple, it just transferred from one system to another. And I had it there, so she reads it, and then she started to cry.
Oh.
And I felt like I had offended her. So I said, "Please forgive me. I don't know what you read there, but sorry." She asked me, she says, "Can you please tell me what's going on?" And she says, "No, come back in 3 days." So I finished my work that day, finished the second day. On the third day, I come to her. Before I could touch any machine, I went to her and said, "Tell me." And she hands me these 3 papers, okay? And they're beautiful. They have words that are like a poem, and to me, they're dancing, but not dancing crazy dancing, but like moving, like a beautiful writing, and made me want to read it. And I read it, and then I go to her and says, "Wow, this is beautiful. What's this?" And she told me, "That's what you wrote." And this, it says, "Yeah, that's what you wrote." I said, tell me more." And she says, "Carlos, the night before you gave me this writing, was asking God to give me something to give you back as a gift. You've done my house so beautiful. I wanted to give you something." And I only, I have the problem of being too honest with things that I think. And I told her, "Yeah, but I charge you for everything I did. Are you going to charge me for this?" And she goes, "No, no, 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 no. It's a gift. I want to give you a gift. And I can see with what you gave me that God is giving you poems. So you're going to write the poems. I'll help you structure them, and then you're going to publish the book." And I'm like, whatever. And from that moment on, every time that I had a poem, God would wake me up at 4:30 in the morning, and I would write. I would sit on the computer. That's how that first book happened. And right now, I have enough poems to write 7 books. The thing is that my editorial house wants me to do, which is the Pan House, want me to do a book a year.
Wow.
And that I have to tell you now because it's a great door to open to tell you about the third book. I called my editor not beginning of about a month ago. This is a secret, okay? Nobody knows about this stuff but you and the audience in here. Um, we're talking about my third book, and I tell him, yeah, the third book is finished, editing is done, drawings are done, everything is done, and so he said, well, get ready to send it to me. And then also I tell him about the fourth project, which is a dream of mine, and I'm not going to tell you about that one. And maybe you'll have to invite me for another program for that one. So I tell him, but the interesting thing is that fourth book is not done, and then all of a sudden God is giving me 4 poems in one weekend about Venezuela.
Hmm.
And he tells me, what's that about? So I share with him, and he goes, Carlos, you're talking about the Venezuela that it was, and you're talking about the Venezuela that we're seeing right now. That book has to come out now.
Hmm.
And I tell him, I only have 10 poems, and I need 22. He says, pray. And I love a challenge. So I say, okay, hang up on him. I start praying. In less than a week and a half, I had 12 more poems to finish the 22 poems. And then in about a week, I was able to do the translation. The book is finishing stages of the editing and the drawings. We're going to have a book about Venezuela pretty soon. And it's going to teach you about where is Venezuela, what's Venezuela, what happened to Venezuela, and what's happening in Venezuela.
Oh, I love that. I know that you're so passionate about your home country, and so I think that's beautiful and brilliant. And I love that all of the ways and the synchronicities that have come to you with your writing, and how things and people have come to you in order to assist and make it a reality for your voice to be heard throughout the world. So thank you so much for sharing that. When we come back, I want to hear a little bit about your coaching services and also your motivational speeches that you're doing now. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I am Kim Jacobs, the host of The Kim Jacobs Show, and you all know who's right here with me, Dr. Les Brown. How are you, Dr. Brown?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time you want to give yourself a competitive edge. If you got a message, you have some knowledge or experience, a story, or if you want to do something adventurous and exciting with your life that can increase your credibility, expose you to millions of people, I'm encouraging you to have your own talk show. I used to have a talk show. That one talk show catapulted me to another level. Now there are more people watching the internet, as you are aware, than television. Yes. Come on, somebody.
That's right.
Dr. Kim Jacobs, she trained people on how to have their own talk show. She will train you how to do that. And now with me partnering with her, now you have the combination of an audience, expansive audience. We have over 4 million people in all of our platforms, and the coaching you need to grow your business, to grow your multi-level marketing organization, to draw more attention to yourself in this noisy economy. Go ahead, Kim.
So in the training that I do, Les, I actually do a 6-week training. It's 1 hour per week. And each week I meet with the individuals one-on-one. We go through and we talk about all of the things that's necessary for a show to become a reality. We go from how to actually identify your focus area, what's going to be your ideal customer that's going to be tuning in. We'll talk about how to get guests, how to get sponsorship, how to go about getting your lighting, your branding, and your banners, and everything that you need to know. And guess what, Les? They own their own content at the end of the day.
And that's exciting. Now, if you're ready to create a shift in your business and in your life and increase your cash flow, I want you to go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. It's right there on the screen, KimJacobsConsulting.com. You know, people say opportunity knocks on every door. Right. No. Opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. So I want you to recognize that this is a time for you. This is an incredible time to have your own talk show. It establishes a level of credibility.
Yes.
And by being exposed to people on a regular basis, it allows you to strategically begin to impact and attract your audience. She can take you in a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. So go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. That's KimJacobsConsulting.com. Did I say KimJacobsConsulting.com? Yes, you did. Very good. Make sure you go there and sign up for the coaching, and we're looking forward to working with you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. That's my story, and that's Kim's story, and we're sticking to it. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
That's exciting.
Yes. So I want to know a little bit about, can you tell our audience about your coaching programs and your motivational speeches?
Well, I also have a YouTube program coming up.
Oh, fantastic. Carlos.
Yeah, it's going to be in Spanish. It's going to be based out of Soul Channel, and the program is called. My program is going to be called El Cuento que no, Creámonos el Cuento, because it's going to be in Spanish, and that means let's believe our story. What story you going to believe for yourself? What story you want to tell yourself to believe about? Because of that little voice that we have.
Yeah.
My coaching, I have done some coaching already. I find it fascinating. I find it that if the church was doing their job, the coaches would be out of work.
Oh.
Because
Would you tell me what you mean by that?
in the Word, in the Bible, we find we are encouraged to help each other, to what's the word? To mentor each other. And a coaching is nothing more than a mentor. It's nothing more than somebody who's going to say, "Hey, let's walk together, and tell me your story, and I'll help you see the answers you're looking for within your story." Coach doesn't give you answers, otherwise he would be a bad coach. He just listens to what you have to say, and by listening, he'll find ways to so that you could see by questions. You can see that you have the answers. You just have you're not allowing yourself to grow to get the answers, to work with the answers. But the Bible tells us that we are supposed to mentor each other. Older women mentor the younger women. I think the idea of wanting the spotlight has taken us away from doing this work of helping each other. And that's one of the areas, one of the main things that you want to do if you want to be happy, if you want to find joy in your life. I told you that I wanted to talk about that, and time is running out, and I wanted to mention just a tip on how to approach that, how to change completely your life, your view in life. What I do, what works for me, it's every night before I go to bed, I go to the mirror and I talk to the guy in the mirror, and I tell the guy in the mirror 3 things I like about himself. And as I tell him that, I thank God for those things, those qualities, abilities, looks, whatever it is that I'm mentioning. And then when I finish with that, then I go and I tell God about 3 things that I liked about today, and 3 things that were special. Your program will be there in number 1 today, but regardless, the experience today has been so cool. But I go to sleep with that. In the morning when I wake up, that will be the first thing in my mind.
Yeah.
And so I go to sleep with a gratitude heart, and I wake up with a gratitude heart. When I go to sleep, I don't have things that I have to do tomorrow, or things that I have pending, because I have lowered the volume of that. And I said, no, I know you're there, but we want to talk about the beauty. That we want to thank God for these things that happened today that I'm excited about.
Mm.
You think about it. This is not mine. I'm repeating something I heard somebody said. But in life, there is not bad and good experiences. They're just experiences, and
Mm.
they come with 1% of their what they're going to be. You have 99% of defining what they're going to be at the end. And let me put that in practice real quick. Let's say you have a bad experience. You had an accident in your car. You're driving. You had an accident. You express your emotions. Very important. You express your emotions. If you're angry because Joe got in the middle, don't slap him, but express your emotions. And if you're going to say something nasty, say it to yourself before you face a person. But express your emotions because they are there. I talk about emotions in one of the books, but uh, and it's really cool. But anyway, after you express your emotions, I challenge you to look for three things that you can learn from this experience, from the accident.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So you say to yourself, well, number one, I'm alive. I'm thinking still. I had an accident and I'm not dead, and I'm moving, and all my parts are moving right. So that's number one. I didn't kill anybody. Would be my second one. So another
A
one.
good one.
And then I remember, then I remind myself that I have insurance, and so the expenses of fixing my car or the other car, they're taken care of. So
Yeah.
simple. I simplified it very much, but the idea is that once you find three things that you can thank for, you have turned the ugly experience into a good experience. Maybe not a fabulous experience, but a learning experience.
Carlos, I think you're a fabulous coach, really, and you do simplify it for people. And gratitude is at the essence. And I can say that I've heard many successful people, or I don't even know if I want to use the word success, but people who are living more wholly, more fully, they're happier, and they have those evening and morning routines, and they all include gratitude, as you're talking about now. But what I heard differently today from you is something that I haven't heard from anyone else. And you said that you start out by looking at yourself in the mirror and saying what you love about yourself, and you're giving yourself three things, which makes it easy for everyone, when you keep it to three things, something that you love about, but really looking at yourself in the mirror. That was really, really powerful, so I wanted to bring that back up. And then three things that went right during the day that you're grateful for. And so when we carry that throughout the evening, and in the night, and our brains are processing that, then we can wake up in more of a gratitude state because we remember that. And I love how you put the picture of, this is another thing that I think is really great. Allow yourself to feel the emotion that you're experiencing at the time, and then reflect on it right away after you felt that. And what are the three things that you're grateful for? What are the three things that you learned? And now we get to turn that experience into knowledge and wisdom, and we don't have to carry it with us anymore. And we've turned it into something else with that wisdom. So
Celebrate.
great. Yeah, celebrate. So really wonderful. Oh my goodness, Carlos. Thank you so much for sharing those things with us. I'm so excited for you to, show up more in the world. I know that you're doing everything to do that through your writing and through the work that you're doing within society, and in not only the United States, but Venezuela. So thank you so much for your service. I'm so blessed to have you in the world, as well all of us are. And I want to make sure that everybody knows where to find you. And so, it's at Carlos Fernandez Life Coach is where we can find you. And I'll leave in the description also ways to contact you. And I also put in the description a link to one of your books. So
Thank
I
you.
think that would be really nice as well for to get your hands on that, because it's really good stuff. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience today, Carlos?
Well, I am going to go to the video, and I'm going to describe the all different ways, my phone number, my email address, whatever, so that people can reach out. I am also on Instagram, and you can follow me there.
Okay, good, good. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I want everybody to know how to find you. And I'm going to actually close with I want to read the last of this poem that you wrote. It's called The Message, and I think it would be a really beautiful closing for us. Is that okay?
Of course, please do.
Okay. All right. And I want to quickly before, so you know how to find Carlos, and we'll leave it in the description. Also, investing in the Wellness Driven Life Show is the way that we get to come to you and bring you all of these amazing stories and guests. So invest once, twice, it doesn't matter how large or small. When you invest on our website at www.thewellnessdrivenlifeshow.com, you will receive a beautiful follow-up email that you can save for your records. So thank you for being here on the Wellness Driven Life Show, and share it with everyone. Like, subscribe. So I'm going to close with this beautiful poem. It's the ending of it. It's not the total poem. So you'll have to get the book in order to get the rest. Let me put my spectacles on. My friend, this is all about the journey as we focus on living today. The destination is not an issue. The beauty is here. It's today. Every day, I want to act differently as I am part of the royal family. I want to muster the best of me because I am grateful, not for what I will get in the future, but for something I can enjoy today. Today, I am a servant, not because I am earning heaven's citizenship. I am a servant just because I want to be like the one who invited me to be his friend. Dear reader, this is the message. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.